Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Arun Singh Thakur from Punjab University, Chandigarh. Today, we are going to discuss about the module Company Memorandum and Articles of Association from the paper Tourism and Hospitality Entrepreneurship and Legal Environment. The students, you will come to know about the meaning, nature and contents of the two documents, the important clauses of the documents, alteration modes of these two documents. Let us start. Every company is a kind of body corporate and cannot act on its own. It's having its own legal entity for carrying on the business in its corporate name. For running the affairs of the company, there are supposed to be a number of rules and regulations. These rules manage the interior relationship and conduct of the trade and the relationship among the company members. The rights and the duties of its members and the company are also need to be laid down. The memorandum and the articles of association serves the said purpose. These documents lay down the company's basic framework along with the scope of activities of the company. These are the most important documents filed with the registrar of the companies. Memorandum of association is the agreement of the company and defines the extent of its action, and an article of association of the company is a document regulating the domestic administration of the company within. So, students, let us discuss first of all about Memorandum of Association. Memorandum of Association is an officially authorized deed set out in the construction and listing process of a limited liability company. Its purpose is to identify its association with shareholders. The Memorandum of Association is available to the public and describes the company's name, physical address of the registered office, names of shareholders, and the distribution of shares. The Memorandum of Association is also called as the Constitution of the company. Memorandum of Association is indispensable deed of the company. It prescribes the name, registered office, objects, and investment of the company as discussed earlier. It also lays down the scope of the company. As per Section 2, Part 56 of the Companies Act 2013, memorandum means the memorandum of association of a company as originally framed or as altered from time to time in pursuance of any previous company law or of this act. This is a sample of Memorandum of Association of Reliance Industries Limited. Now further, let us explain about the memorandum and its purpose. Memorandum of Association allows the shareholders, creditors, and all other persons dealing with the company about its powers and array of its activities. The interested shareholder can find out the rationale of investing his money in the company. Memorandum also control the business grounds of the company through its objective clause. Memorandum and its contents. The requisite clauses of Memorandum of Limited Company clauses for its incorporation must contain the following fundamental clauses. The present diagram represents the contents of Memorandum of Association. There are generally 6 clauses: the name clause, objects clause, registered office, the liability clause, capital, and association or subscription. Now, we'll describe these clauses one by one. First is the name clause. Under this clause, the name of the company is mentioned. As a rule, a company can choose any name provided it should not be alike or similar to already registered company. Public limited company must have the word limited and private limited company must have the words private limited. It is not applied to charitable companies created to encourage skill, science, religion, etc. Situation clause. It provides the state location of the registered office. It is the place of office having company's common seal, statutory books, etc. in all the correspondence with the company or in all business dealings with the company, and the address and the name of the company's registered office need to be mentioned. The other important clause is the objects clause. This clause identifies the object of company and normally divided into two parts. The main object of the company on its incorporation along with the objects supplementary or additional to the accomplishment of the main objects. Further, objects not incorporated in above clause, if it is a non-trading companies, then object clause ought to mention state's name to whose territories the objects of the company will extend. While the subscribers to the memorandum can opt any the objects of the proposed company, but it is desirable to consider the following points before choosing the objects. The object clause is the imperative clause of the memorandum as it lays down the scope of authorities and activities of the companies. Normally, it is a practice on the part of company to frame its object clause very wide and elaborate. The basic reason for framing the broad set of activities is to facilitate the future growth and enlargement of the business dealing of the company. Before framing the objects of the company, certain important facts should be taken into consideration, such as the business opted by the company in its objectives should be lawful and not according against the law. The legality of the trade business is the gist of the object clause. For example, the company should not be formed for illegal trade or the lottery business. The object clause should not be shaped in such a way as to defeat the provisions of the company law or to be against the principle of the corporate business. For example, as a matter of law, it is not allowed to buy its own shares by the company as it amounts to diminution of the share capital. Therefore, the object clause should specifically restrict that, but if it is figured out in a manner so as not to be in compliance with the requirements of the Companies Act, like buying back of shares by the company, it is not properly framed. The objects of the company should be consistent with public policy and should not go against the public law existing at that time period. As, for example, if there is a war broke out between two countries and the company associates or dealing parties belong to the country having war with India, then it can be termed as trading with an enemy alien and be held as against the public policy. The clause of the objects should be framed with utmost clarity and certainty, and there should be no chances or indication of any kind of ambiguity and confusion in the mind of the prospective shareholder or the intending outsider regarding the activities and purpose of the company while dealing with it. Then comes the liability clause. It provides the liability of the members of the company either limited by share or by guarantee. This clause might be absent in case of unlimited liability. Then comes the capital clause. This clause lays down maximum amount of capital to be raised by the company along with division of capital into shares. Then comes subscription clause. It includes the names and addresses of the first subscribers to in private company taking at least one share in private company and 7 in case of the public company. Alteration procedure in the memorandum. Memorandum of association can be altered only in agreement with the requirements of the law. 1. The central government. Then the registered office can be changed from one place to another in the same city or town, or from one town to another in the same state, or from one state to another either by passing a ordinary resolution or special resolution. The change of object clause is done by calling a general meeting of its members and taking an exceptional decision and receiving the subsequent approval of the central government. All above alterations must be notified to the registrar within 3 months of change. Memorandum of Association and Doctrine of Ultra Vires. What is doctrine of ultra vires? The words ultra means beyond, vires means the powers. Ultra vires means beyond the powers. A company which owes its incorporation to statutory authority cannot effectively do anything beyond the powers expressly or impliedly conferred upon by the statute or memorandum of association. This doctrine means going beyond the powers. In relation to the company memorandum, it is applied to protect the interest of the shareholders. As a rule, a company is not allowed to go beyond the objects of the company mentioned in the memorandum of association, or the company is having no authority to go outside the objects or to do any act having no reasonable adjacent correlation with the object. In case the company tries to surpass the objects stated in the memorandum, the doctrine comes to the rescue of the investors and declare it void or not binding on them. If the act is per se ultra vires, then it cannot made valid even if with the consent of all the members of the company. To find out the nature of act as ultra vires, the following points must be taken into consideration. The first is, if the impunged act is allowed by the main purpose, or if the authority to do that act is conferred by the exceptional powers expressly given by the statute to implement the main purpose, or if the act does not fall within above 2 points, then act is declared as ultra vires. What are the exceptions to the doctrine of ultra vires? As a rule, the company can include only those activities in its business dealings if they are either essential for the fulfillment of main object or incidental objects and comes within the acceptable restrictions of the trade, or company is otherwise allowed by the Companies Act in the way of the business. All other activities except stated above would come under the ambit of ultra vires transactions. However, there are certain exceptions to the above rule, such as if any act is within the authority of the company but outside the director's authority, then it can be made valid by ratification of the shareholders. The another is, if any act within the authority is done in irregular manner, then it can be corrected and validated with the consent of the shareholders. Then third is the property acquired through ultra vires investments still belong to the company. Then the acts impliedly authorized by the memorandum are not ultra vires. If the acts are within the authority of the memorandum but outside the ambit and authority of the articles of association, then such acts can be validated by alteration in the articles to that effect. Ultra vires transactions and its consequences. Such acts can be restrained by getting decree of injunctions by the members. For all ultra vires transactions, the directors are held personally liable and can be compelled to repay for those acts to the company. The directors, being the agent of the company, can be sued for the breach of warranty for breaking the rule of agency. Now we'll discuss about the binding effect of memorandum on the members. Memorandum of association of company after getting registered is binding on the members to the equivalent amount of degrees as if it is being signed or executed by the company and the members thereof. It's the duty of the members to abide by all provisions of the memorandum. It is applicable to every member of the company. Now, dear students, we'll discuss about the Articles of Association. The Articles of Association is a document containing the rationale of the company as well as the corresponding obligations and interest of its members. It is one of the key credentials filed with the Registrar of Companies. Articles prescribe the internal procedure and administration of the company. The relation of the members inter se is determined by the articles. Companies Act 2013 defines articles as the articles of association of a company, originally framed or altered from time to time or applied in pursuance of any previous company law or of this act. Now we'll discuss about the contents of articles and their brief description. The various contents of the articles must have the set of rules and regulations for the organization of the company along with the matters prescribed by the central government in addition to the following: share capital, rights of shareholders and distribution of the shares, lien of shares, calls on the shares, transfer of shares or diffusion of the shares, then forfeiture of the shares or giving up of the shares, exchange of the shares in stock, then share warrant, alteration of the capital, general meeting and proceedings, voting rights of the members, directors, their appointment, remuneration, qualifications, powers and proceedings of the boards of the directors meeting. Then dividends and reserves, accounts and audits, borrowing powers and winding up. Alteration in Articles of Association. Articles of Association can be changed either by addition, deletion, modification, substitution or in any other way by calling together a board meeting for the above purpose with a 7-day notice and holding the board meeting for passing the resolutions of alteration. After passing the resolution, it is sent to the registrar and if he then accordingly register the alteration and issue a certificate with respect to the alteration, every such modification must be added in the memorandum. Doctrine of constructive notice. The Articles of Association and the memorandum after getting registered becomes the public document, can be inspected by anyone interested in the company and intended to invest therein. Thus, its rule that contents of the articles are constructive notice to the outsiders, and every human being or artificial entity trading with the company is presumed to have become aware of what is inside the articles and memorandum. However, there is exclusion to this rule of constructive notice and known as doctrine of indoor management. The principle of constructive notice saves the company from any kind of frivolous or baseless claims and litigations by any stakeholders on the ground that he or she was not aware of that particular undertaking of the company. This doctrine suggests that in case of any dispute, the third party cannot claim that he was not having the knowledge about the company and not being notified of the company's procedures or practices if they are party to the memorandum of association and articles of association. It is presumed that every interested person coming for investment in the company have read the memorandum of association and the articles of association. It is deemed that he has understood the real content and aspect of these documents before approving an agreement with the company. It should be remembered that the doctrine of ostensible information or knowledge is restricted only to the outdoor situation of the company. Now, what is doctrine of indoor management? The doctrine of indoor management protects the outsiders. The indoor management operates against the company and can be called upon by the individual trading with the company. The base for this doctrine suggests that although it is mandatory for any outsider to be familiar with the external situation of the company, but it is not necessary that he is also bound to be aware of indoor management or irregularity in the internal affair of the company. For example, in absence of any notification regarding any change in the internal dealing of the company to the third party usually subscribes, particularly in the memorandum of and articles of association, then the third party cannot be protected to know of such changes, and any loss to such effect shall be made not to be disadvantage of the company. This doctrine can be called upon by an individual trading with the company. The doctrine is recognized in the case of Royal Bank versus Turquoise. In the said case, the articles of association allowed the directors of the companies to borrow on bonds in case of any requirement. For such purpose, it was provided that borrowing should be authorized by the memorandum and can be done only through a special resolution in the general meeting. The plaintiff, Turquoise, was agreed to hand over a bond with the seal of the company bearing signature of two directors and the secretary to make safe the payment out of current account. But all that was done without a resolution being passed to that effect. Turquoise wanted to bind the company to the bond on the ground that he was an ordinarily sensible person and assumed that the resolution had been passed in the general meeting. The reasons given by the court were that, first of all, articles of association and memorandum of association are public documents. All members of the public are not privy to the internal proceedings that takes place in company, and so cannot make informed decision all the times. Secondly, the plea of the constructive notice can be misused if the indoor management principle is not applied. However, there are certain exceptions to this rule where an outsider cannot claim protection of this doctrine if the outsider is having knowledge of irregularity of the company's activities, if not the knowledge, he is having suspicion of irregularity that something is not followed as per the rule. In case of forgery, the rule cannot be applied. If the acts are outside the apparent authority of the company, then also the doctrine of indoor management should not be used. Then we'll discuss the legal effect of articles of association. Just like the memorandum, the articles after getting registered is also obligatory on the company and its members to the equivalent scope as if it has been executed by the company and its members personally. So, the students, let us now summarize what we have learned in this module. The memorandum and articles of association of the company govern the basic principles of the corporate world that fix the relationship of the shareholders and the company to make sure that their interest is safe and correlate with the activities of the company. From the discussion, it is clear that the memorandum and articles of association are two major documents and having great importance in the relation of the company. These documents lay down the substance for which the company is created, identifies the probable compass of its operation, further that its actions will not go. The powers and activities of the company are confined to the memorandum and articles only. If anything done beyond these documents, then it will be outside the permitted authority of the company and be declared void. Both the documents are prime instruments of the company. However, in case of conflict between the contents of the memorandum and articles of association, it is the memorandum which will overcome the articles of association. Thank you very much.